I think it gets fun points.
I agree. This is a fun thing to build. I would love to build, if everyone got to start with a feat. I would love this as a background feat for a Pyromaniac, right? I'd love this as a background feat for like a Fiend Warlock. I think could be a very cool direction to go. It wouldn't be that powerful. The D4 would matter most in the low tiers anyway, and that's where I would see this being kind of the most fun to play, was level 1 through 5, which is the least likely time you're going to have to get it.
Yeah.
Normally you're going to pick this up at 4th level and then immediately be like, oh, wow, only 1d4, huh? Yeah, that does kind of suck.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the feat Flames of Phlegethos.
That's my best guess as well. What if it's Phlegethos and they just screwed with us by not making the PH and F sound?
Oh man, then I'm a racist.
That's gotta be it. It's tieflings don't pronounce the F and PH. It's the huh, that's the sound.
Politicos.
That's the winner right there. Save that one. So anyway, Flames of P is what I'm gonna call it for most of this video. You learn to call on Hellfire.
Flames of P?
Yeah, Flames of P. P8.
Oh, the letter P. Okay.
The letter P. Not like you're.
I thought you were just like pissing flame.
I guess
that's not what this feat does.
True. This is all right. I didn't also mention this is a prerequisite. This is for tieflings. It's from Xanth Crisis Guide to Everything, one of the species feats. You learn to call on Hellfire to serve your commands. You get the following benefits: increase your int or charisma by 1 to a max of 20. I like both those. Both those are useful. When you roll fire damage for a spell you cast, you can re-roll any 1 on the fire damage dice, but you must use the new roll even if it is another 1. And finally, whenever you cast a spell that deals fire damage, you can cause the flames to wreathe you until the end of your next turn. The flames don't harm you or your possessions, and they shed bright light out to 30 feet and dim light for another 30 feet. While they are present, any creature within 5 feet of you that hits you with a melee attack takes a d4 fire damage. This is nifty.
Yeah.
I don't know how good it is, but it is nifty, right?
Yeah, I'm a little bummed that it's limited to tieflings. I could see.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I see some build. All right, let me ask you that second bullet point.
The rerolling ones.
No. The third bullet point. The one with the flames around you. Does that stack with an effect like Armor of Agathis?
Yeah, sure does. And Fire Shield, which also stacks with Armor of Agathis, so you could conceivably just like pile all these on and be a prickly little bugger.
Go hug somebody, or no, they have to actually attack you.
That's true.
Yeah.
The flames only last a turn, but as long as you keep casting fire spells, the fire can stick up. I think there is like some little build around potential with this. Now, the payoff is a d4 fire damage. Not a big payoff. Right?
Yeah, but if you're stacking it, and this might be one of those academic exercises. Try to see how much damage you can get from somebody attacking you, or give from somebody attacking you. It's fun to play, but yeah, if you just need to keep spewing out fire spells, you can, firebolt, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't want to probably have to do that, right? You'd probably want to have more powerful, higher level fire spells to do with it, but so we can immediately compare this to Elemental Adept. I'm not high on that. I call that one of the worst feats in the game, which it lets you ignore resistance to a damage type, and then it lets you bump up the damage from 1s on dice rolls to 2s. There is a substantial difference between a 1 to a 2 and 1 to a average result.
Reroll,
yeah. So like you're usually getting more than 1 damage on it. Like on average, it's a lot more than 1 damage on it, which is a meaningful dice upgrade compared to Elemental Adept. You are also getting an ability score bump, which I cannot emphasize enough how critical that is to me ever considering taking this, right? If I'm not going from a 17 to 18 int or a 17 to 18 charisma, I probably am nowhere near this. But if you're doing all that, okay, I can kind of see it. It's kind of harmless, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like every bullet point. You cast spells. I mean, this might be worth upgrading your fireballs or something just to get more dice to roll more 1s and hope that they become 6s.
Maybe there's a little bit of a tension because Wildfire Druid gets another way to give more dice to your fire spells, right? If you're playing Wildfire, you can like do more fire damage stuff. and that's a wisdom based option, and this is only inner charisma, so you can't really mix and match like that. But you can do other things, I'm sure. I like the idea of playing, and again with Druid, because you would want to flame shield yourself, be a bear, but then you can't cast fire spells, so you can't keep the spells going. So maybe you're like an abjurer, maybe you're a blade singer, and you're like put a fire shield on yourself, trying to draw creatures to attack you, and then you're bouncing back damage with Flame Shield, which doesn't go off because there's no concentration, and this, which just keeps resetting for a bonus d4. That's a cute little play pattern you can try to build to. Now, again, the payoff on the last mode is a d4 fire damage on hit. That's not a real payoff, right? Like, that's just
No.
oh, goody. I do 2 extra damage to something that hits me. Most of the weight there still is happening to the fire-based spell that you cast and the flame fire shield. All of those things do kind of stack together just to say your average damage per round is a little bit better. On top of your saves being better, on top of your to hit rolls being better because you got the ASI bump, right? That ability score improvement is a meaningful little extra that makes this all cobble together to be like, I could consider taking this just as like a reasonable improvement to a fire-based spellcaster. That's really why I wish it wasn't Tiefling locked. This not being Tiefling required, I think, would make it a little bit more appealing, and this is just like the go-to Arsonist feat, right? If you want to play the fire-based mage, you don't even have to necessarily care about the last mode as long as it's giving you that ability score bump. It's going to still be worse than the ones that give you second-level spells and stuff. Those also give you ability score bumps. That's just given. Those are more resources. They tend to be more powerful resources. But I think this is a still relatively harmless thing to consider.
I think it gets fun points.
I agree. This is a fun thing to build around. I would love to build, if everyone got to start with a feat, I would love this as a background feat for a Pyromaniac, right? I'd love this as a background feat for like a Fiend Warlock. I think could be a very cool direction to go. It wouldn't be that powerful. The D4 will matter most in the low tiers anyway, and that's where I would see this being kind of the most fun to play with level 1 through 5, which is the least likely time you're going to have to get it.
Yeah.
Normally you're going to pick this up at 4th level and then immediately be like, oh, wow, only 1d4, huh? Yeah, that does kind of suck.
Yeah, but that's for that one thing. But you're still going to re-roll your dice.
Yeah, rerolling once is great, especially when you're rolling lots of large-sized dice. And d6s are moderate size, d8s are bigger. There aren't a lot of d8 spells that I can think of that do fire damage. Maybe you're like Sorcerer and you take Transmute specifically so you can try and like game rolling larger quantities of more dice that you want to upgrade ones for. There's probably some fun stuff you can do to try and get more out of this. The ceiling on it is still pretty low, though. Like, you're not able to juice this in a way like a sharpshooter could, or again, even the extra resource
No.
spells I think are going to on average be quite a bit better than this. I still think this gets like a solid 3 to me.
Yeah, that sounds fair. It's yeah, if I'm going to use it, if I'm going to take this, it's not going to be because it's powerful. It's going to
Yeah.
be because it's fun.
100% agreed.
And that seems right about at 3 territory.
Yeah, and like I would say the Tavern Brawler is like a 2 because it's bad but fun. This is enough, right? This is enough where I go, okay, I get some numeric advantage for taking this. It's not, I'm not going to get blown out of the water by everyone else around me because I took this. Whereas if you
Right.
start hitting people with chairs that are doing a d6 damage, you're like, yeah, this is probably strictly worse than every other feat I could have picked. But hey, I got to hit somebody with a chair. It'd make
More effectively because you can already
yes,
hit somebody with a chair.
true.
Yes. Got anything else to say about it?
I don't. If you want to take this and aren't tiefling, I would say that's a-okay in my book. So I'd ask your DM and be like, hey, this feed's super harmless. Can I take it? And they probably will say yes. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wish they wouldn't restrict these, not so powerful feats. Like, save the restrictions for, bigger stuff. But whatever.
The design space for the race and species based feats, I don't entirely get the premise of a lot of them. So like the bountiful luck makes sense. It lets the halflings use their racial trait in an interesting fashion, right? It's an expansion of the actual race itself. This just feels like you're better at fire magic, and that doesn't feel like inherently anything that tieflings like. Yeah, tieflings are devil based. There's a lot of stuff in there that comes with it, and their base race doesn't do a lot with this. So I could see these feats playing more into that space, right? Like Orcish Fury is the other one, right, where the half orcs got like no real reason to play with their hack of fork abilities, no real like payoffs for doing any of it. I think they kind of missed the mark on like half the design of these, and a lot of them should have just been cool new feats anyone can take.
Yeah, well, like we recently talked about Dragonhide. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
it's your skin.
Yeah, literal skin, literal claws. It kind of makes sense
Yeah.
for that. This is just like, I am better with fire.
Yeah, I mean,
Again,
not
anyone
all
can be better with
tieflings
fire.
are fire fiends.
Can you see, like, I can imagine the red dragonborn though. That looks like a perfect fit for this, right? Where you're
Sure,
sucking
yeah.
out flames, your own breath encases you. That seems so sweet. And that would definitely fit right alongside the tieflings, more so fitting than tieflings, I would even say.
Yep.
But that's not what's written.
But yeah, so yeah, DMs, feel free to let your players take this.
If
It's
they
not
have
gonna.
heard of it. Because I hadn't, well, I had, but then I had forgotten about it until right now, whenever we reread it again. So
All right. Well, that was Flames of Phlegethos. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.